You know that package that just showed up on your doorstep? Well, its journey to you was the final step in this unbelievably complex global dance of materials, manufacturing, and logistics. For decades, that dance has been, let's be honest, kind of clumsy and slow, but now it's getting a radical, super intelligent upgrade. So let's pull back the curtain and see what this new choreography really looks like.
So, on one side, you've got the old way of doing things, silo departments that don't talk to each other, tons of manual work, and information that's basically out of date the second you get it. But on the other side, you have the smart supply chain. Here, everything is integrated, it's automated, and it's constantly learning. It's really the difference between a clumsy relay race where everyone's dropping the baton and a perfectly synchronized hive mind.
And that really brings us to the big question we're going to tackle, right? What actually makes a supply chain smart? Because it's way more than just adding a few computers into the mix. We're talking about a complete reimagining of how things get from point A to point B, all around the planet. But, to really appreciate just how revolutionary this is, we first have to understand the problems we're trying to solve. The traditional supply chain, for all its past successes, is pretty much fundamentally broken for the world we live in today. This slide really hits on the exact pain points. When we say functionally siloed, we mean the warehouse team isn't really talking to the shipping team in real time. Manual coordination? Yeah, that means endless spreadsheets, emails, and phone calls. It's a whole system built on these little fragments of data, which makes it slow, super inefficient, and, as we've seen, incredibly fragile. So, out of the ashes of that old, clunky system rises the solution, the smart supply chain. And listen, this isn't just a minor improvement, it's like a completely new species of logistics. And here we have the core definition, drawing from what a lot of researchers agree on. The phrases you really want to lock onto here are continuous sensing, which means it's always on, always watching, and algorithmic control. The system isn't just passively collecting data, it's actively using that data to make decisions and basically run itself. A smart supply chain is really built on four key pillars. First, you need those instrumented data flows from sensors. Think of them as the eyes and ears of the whole operation. Then, you need interoperable platforms to make sure all the different software can actually talk to each other. Third, automated decision-making uses AI to make smart choices on the fly. And finally, pervasive connectivity is the glue that links everything and everyone together, from the factory floor all the way to your doorstep. All right, now for the really cool part. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the specific technologies that are giving these smart supply chains their brains. What we're looking at is a seriously powerful combination of tools. At the top of the list, you've got artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, blockchain, and the really fascinating world of digital twins. Each one plays a unique and absolutely critical role. Okay, so AI and machine learning. They basically act as the brain of the whole operation. Instead of a person just guessing at demand, the AI is analyzing these huge data sets, historical sales, weather patterns, even social media trends, to predict a huge spike in demand for raincoats next Tuesday and then prescribe the most efficient shipping route to get them into stores. See, it's a huge shift from just reacting based on old rules to being proactively intelligent. So if AI is the brain, then the Internet of Things, or IoT, is the nervous system. We're talking about millions of tiny sensors on shipping containers, on trucks, even on individual products, all constantly feeding back their location, their temperature, their condition. This is the raw, real-time data that fuels the entire smart system. Blockchain comes in to provide the trust layer. The best way to think about it is like a digital notary that everyone in the supply chain, the factory, the freight company, the retailer, can see and trust completely. It creates one single unchangeable source of truth, which pretty much eliminates disputes and fraud. And this is where it gets really futuristic. A digital twin is an exact virtual replica of your real-world supply chain. It's like a video game, a perfect sandbox where a company can test out a new warehouse layout or simulate the impact of a port shutting down, all without any real-world risk. It's incredible. This table does a great job of showing how all these technologies work together. You can see how each piece has a very specific job. AI gives it intelligence, IoT generates the data, blockchain ensures trust, and digital twins let you optimize without risk. They're powerful on their own, for sure, but when you put them together, that's when you get a truly intelligent system. So that's the incredible tech stack, but what does it all actually add up to? I mean, why are companies pouring billions of dollars into this transformation? Let's look at the proven real-world results. This quote from the research by Muka, it really says it all. I mean, just look at those numbers. They're staggering. We are not talking about small, tiny gains here. These are transformative improvements across the entire board. First up, the bottom line. A 20 to 40% reduction in operational costs. That is a massive gain in efficiency that drops straight into a company's profitability. Just huge. And how about this one? Slashing errors by up to 60%. That's a massive leap in quality. It means fewer wrong shipments, way less waste, and of course, a huge jump in customer satisfaction. And finally, pure speed. We're talking about cutting the time it takes to get something done by up to half. So let's recap. It's cheaper, it's better, and it's faster. This is exactly why it's a revolution. Now, if the benefits are this massive, you have to ask yourself, why hasn't every single company already done this? Well, the truth is, this transformation is incredibly difficult, and the road ahead is absolutely filled with challenges. You know, the obstacles are both technical and human. You've got ancient IT systems that were never designed to talk to each other. You have deep-seated cultural resistance to change. And there's a serious shortage of workers who have the right data science skills. It's a really complex puzzle to solve. But the good news is, these challenges aren't insurmountable. The research shows there's a clear path forward. You see, success requires more than just buying some new software. It demands a real strategy, creating dedicated expert teams, getting super serious about data quality, and adopting disciplined professional standards for how all this technology is built and managed. Ultimately, what the smart supply chain really represents is a fundamental change in philosophy. It's about moving away from that old model where you're just reacting to problems after they happen, to this new model where you can actually predict them before they occur and act proactively to stop them. And that leaves us with one last big, provocative thought. As these systems get more and more intelligent, more predictive, more autonomous, we have to ask a critical question. Who, at the end of the day, will be in charge of making that final call? The human expert or the very algorithm they built?